Good morning, everyone. My name is Pedro Campos, President of ITPI. Thank you so much for your patience. I believe we're still waiting for some participants to join us. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. And as you saw in the agenda, we're going to be creating articulations, adopting articulations. We're going to show the beautiful features, which is going to allow the veterans to upload their transcript, how to search for a given MOS, and how the faculty will be doing their approvals once an articulations have been created. Let me go ahead and show you the screen. This is the general map dashboard homepage, in which I might just increase it a little bit. Maybe too small for you guys.
Thanks for getting started, Pedro.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, let me just give it back to you. I guys just started showing the dashboard page.
All right, great. So this is the homepage of MAP. At the top, you'll see some numbers. On the blue boxes, you'll see the number of articulations that are at a particular stage. So we have 4 stages: the evaluator stage, faculty stage, articulation officer stage, and the implementation stage. That's the life cycle of an articulation. This is Norco College's instance of MAP. It's a local instance. If you could close up the favorites, that would be great, Pedro. And we'll scroll up a little bit. And you'll see 1543 at the evaluator stage. And that means we have 1,543 articulations that have been created by an evaluator. Some of them are articulated ACE courses, some of them are articulated occupations, and some of them are our courses. We have 62 courses at Norco College that are in the process of articulation. Some of them are in process, some of them have been denied. We view an approved or a denied articulation as equally valid and equally useful, because they show that we've made our way through our catalog, evaluated against the occupations available, and determined whether it's a good match or not. And then we store both sets of information so we don't have to act on it again. We have 1,453 at the faculty stage, so those are waiting for faculty response. And then 136 to be reviewed by the articulation officer. That's the 3rd stage. And then once they make it past the articulation officer, they go to implementation stage. Because we're a multi-college district, we need to have the articulations approved by the 3 different discipline representatives of the faculty at the 3 colleges. Down below, you'll see the articulations in process. So you'll see if we sort for, I think, manufacturing, we might want to sort, or management, Pedro?
Yeah, let's talk about those steps while I'm filtering that.
Okay. These are the articulations in process. You could flip to the recent courses activity tab, and that would just show the most recent course activities, articulation activities. If you're a particular user, you can see your latest articulations in the recent user activity, and then the denied articulations tab. You can sort this by subject, and you can filter by any stage of the 4 stages. So right now, Pedro's going to filter for the below a list of courses that have articulations for management.
Yeah. Refresh the screen. On the next tab, what I have is just the create articulations, which
okay.
You can move on that one.
Okay. So down, if you go back just one slide there. So down below, you'll see Accounting 200 is the first in the line. Accounting 200 is on here because it has an evaluator has taken action on it. You'll see the 1 under the evaluator column. That means the evaluator has created an articulation to recommend, and it has been, you'll see the NRM means that Norco, Riverside, Moreno Valley, those are 3 colleges. If you're a multi-college district, in our case, it's been approved by 3 colleges. Are you going to open up below, or are we going to flip to the next?
Flip to the next.
Okay. So let's go on to a specific example.
of how to create an articulation there. Yeah, by the way, before we're moving on, this homepage, Dr. Lee was telling you about all the articulations in this particular case for Norco College. All of this can be filtered also by a given stage or a given subject during the process. And MAP keeps track of everything that happened with those articulations in an audit trail table, so that could be accessed at any time. So moving on, this is the great articulation.
So this is where the process really starts. And the process starts, in our case, we found it starts most effectively with an evaluator in our admissions and records office. In our case, it's Janelle. At Moreno Valley, it's Arlene. They'll both, they might be, you might hear from them later. On the left side, you'll see the catalog courses. These are sorted for management, and these are already loaded into MAP. These are management courses at Norco College. And the basic idea is to create an articulation between the course and the credit recommendation. So on the left hand, you have our courses. On the right side, you see the ACE occupations that have management principles somewhere in the occupation description. So we've sorted for the keyword management principles, and it's brought up this list of occupations. Advanced aircraft communications, navigation system is the first one. And you'll scroll down and see all the different MOSs or ACE courses that have management principles in the credit recommendation somewhere. And so when you double click on those, it opens up a description from ACE. These are all imported from ACE. And this is the description of this ACE occupation. What's the occupation you clicked on, Pedro? This is attack helicopter repair. Well, Calvin's on this team right here. He's our MAP program expert. Calvin was in active duty in the Navy and was a helicopter technician, right, Calvin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this might look familiar. I didn't know you were going to click on this one, Pedro. But back to it. Actually, if you could keep it open for just a second.
Sure.
An MOS or rating or an AFSC or an occupation, the different services use different labels, have descriptors that are divided at skill level. So when you're just starting out in this occupation, starts out at skill level 10. And the faculty who evaluate these at ACE will differentiate the different skill levels and give different credit recommendations for each skill level. You'll see that they're not giving much credit recommendations, skill level 10 and 20, but at skill level 30 is a much higher level of responsibility, training, and experience. I see Calvin nodding. And in this case, it's starting at skill level 30, we see that the highlighted text is picking up on those keyword search that you made. And in this case, it's avionics, aviation management, and principles of supervision. And down below, skill level 40 is what we're really looking for,
Right.
which is 3 hours in management principles. So using the keyword search, it pulled up both the word management and principles from the credit recommendations for ACE, and that's why it's included on this list. So you can close that out now. So now that AH64, does that have an existing articulation, Pedro?
Let's take a look. If we expand that MOS, if it does, it's going to show us the existing articulation.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then we can then create an articulation that with the left-hand side.
We don't really want to do too much live
It
on
actually-
here because the Zoom with so many people on makes it pretty slow.
Okay.
Anyway, there it is. Management 44 has already been articulated with AH64. How do you create an articulation with this in the first place? Let's say it didn't have an articulation.
Yeah, in this case, it's articulated with management 44. But we can see here on the left-hand side that management 54 does not have any articulations. So let's go ahead and create an articulation between 67R and management.
Before you do, Pedro, I think we would want to probably look at that MOS description and see if it had employee labor relations on the credit recommendation before. But you're just giving it as an example, right?
That's right.
Let's assume that it has the credit recommendation, employee labor relations, and we're going to create that articulation. So what would you do then, Pedro?
Yes, by dragging and dropping that over the left-hand side with management 54 is located. Map is behind the scenes, is doing all the relationships, is bringing all the recommendations criteria and associating those to management 54. And as Dr. Lee indicated, yeah, its processing is a little slow for so many people in this session, but it's about to finish. There we go. Now, what it's going to do is going to show us side by side the content and comparisons between the college course and the ACE occupation that we just created, allowing the evaluator, giving them the opportunity to see the student learning outcomes, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to turn over back to you, Dr. Lee, so you can continue with this.
Thank you, Pedro. So again, on the left-right split, you'll see course information from your catalog on the left. In our case, we were able to create an API with CurricuNet, with our instance of CurricuNet. And so I was able to pull the student learning outcomes and the program learning outcomes, and along with the specifics of the course. For the colleges where we don't have an API set up, we pull this directly from Koki. Whatever's in Koki, we pull it over, migrate it over, and it's presented here. In the middle is the same description you saw earlier of that attack helicopter repairer. And if we were to create let's say we were creating an articulation with MAG 54, employee labor relations, we would be scanning down, and had we used the keyword search labor relations, you would see it in yellow, but scanning down, in this case, probably it doesn't have labor relations.
Yeah, this was probably articulated. Well, in this case, we're just creating these articulations, right?
Yeah, this is just an example.
Yeah, if they had, it will be listed on this drop down here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Lee, just to remind you, we have 15 minutes and we have another 4 bullets to cover.
All right, I'll keep quiet. And in this case, there's no credit recommendation that matches. If there was, you would pick it, select it, and add it. This is a test instance, so don't worry, Janelle, we're not messing up your articulations. And then it produces that right there. And if it found that same phrase, it would highlight it in yellow.
Yeah. Before Dr. Lee does move on, I just want to point out the recommendation section that does allow us to only move forward that articulation for specific skill levels. So in this case, if it was a skill level 10 that did not have that credit recommendation attached, then that would be exempt from the faculty approval. Also, if the faculty wanted to override what the evaluator had decided for any reason, then they have that option of either selecting more or selecting fewer skill levels to pass forward for approval.
And they will also have the ability to add any notes or upload any supporting documentation. So I'm going to go ahead for the purpose of this test and move this forward, because we're going to review this later on when we go into the faculty review process. And it is as simple as clicking on that move forward button. And once it's done, it comes back, requesting if obviously it's going to notify the faculty. But if this college is set to notify the district sister colleges or the IEDRC sister colleges on every district, those options will be listed here. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on submit. And it says connect any notes. And Now, this will be in the notifications area for the faculty of this discipline. And we're going to get there in a moment. So moving on, and then the ability to move forward, that is no longer available, so it's gone.
And really quick, Pedro, there is 2 questions in the chat regarding the 3-hour training versus the hours. So in regards to the credit hours, ACE will recommend either 1, 2, or 3, or even more credit hours for a certain credit, like a recommendation. And if you look at the top, let me see if this one has it, but a lot of these occupations or even the courses will give the amount of time, like for a course, how long that course was for that military occupation. So if you're looking in terms of credit hours, that's mostly what our faculty will refer to, but we use the recommendation by ACE to award the actual credit. And we do try to align those as closely as possible with the course that matches our curriculum. So if it is, a 2-unit or a 1-unit credit recommendation, then we're not articulating those and sending to our faculty.
Thank you, Janelle. So the 3 hours in principles of supervision means 3 credit hours.
Yes.
Yes, 3 credit hours.
Thank you.
Yeah. ACE has been doing this for 30 years, and so they changed their nomenclature over the years. And so there's a lot of variation. So one of the projects in MAP is to actually normalize all these credit recommendations and to taxonomize them within disciplines. So we eventually want to create common course numbering for all of these credit recommendations that have been made. There are over 5,000 now. We believe we can boil it down to about 1,500 unique credit recommendations using a common numbering and common referral system.
Thank you, Attorney. Okay, moving on. The next item in this section is how to adopt articulations from other colleges. And the way MAP offers you multiple ways to do that. And we're going to go over one of those options. And you see this green capital icon here on the left. And this, once you hover your mouse, you're going to see that it's telling us that this course has been articulated in another college, and obviously as well as Norco College. But if we look at Management 200, it has no articulations in Norco College. So what we would like to see is which other colleges in the district have been articulated Management 200. So once we click on that, then a pop-up is going to come up. It's going to tell us all the articulations that exist for Management 200 on the sister colleges of Riverside. This is what shows up, and it indicates that Moreno Valley College has articulations for Management 200, as you can see here. And multiple MOSs have been articulated with Management 200. If you trust the evaluator from Moreno Valley and you rely on their comparisons and assigning all those recommendations, you can go ahead and adopt all of them at once. Or if you will feel more comfortable reviewing one by one, you can review any attached documents and adopt individual articulations. If you want to do it multiples, you can then select as you wish. And once you do that, MAP is going to only adopt the articulations that have been checked. And once this happens, it's telling us, are you sure you want to do this? And it's giving us the option to adopt and send this to the evaluator stage at Norco College, or if we want to just move forward to faculty articulation officer, you have the options to do that. And these settings can be configured by college. So we're going to go ahead and put those in the evaluator stage so Janelle can review it. We click proceed. And now these articulations will be on Janelle's queue. Once more time, to give us the ability to notify the faculty, just in case we want to do that. And then we can send some notes for them to review. And that concludes the process of adopting articulations from another colleges. If there are no more questions on this regard, we can move on the next bullet unless, Janelle, you have any additional comments for this process?
Dr. Lee, we do have a few in the chat asking about how to go about having their curriculum imported to MAP, how they get access, things of that sort.
That's a great question. Pedro's team has already imported the curriculum for all 116 colleges. So your curriculum's already in here, including your programs of study and your courses. And so we will be talking more later about an opportunity to use the platform for a cohort, a new cohort of colleges. This is supported by the grant provided by Assemblymember Cervantes. And we'll give you some more details on that forthcoming. I just want to emphasize how important it is for us to make our articulations adoptable by other colleges. We want as many veterans to get as much credit as they can, and we see that happening by acting as a big team. And that's why that's such an important feature for us. We're moving into our outreach portion of the demo, though. So go ahead, take it away, Pedro.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lee. And just one more comment about updating curriculum. This API that MAP has enabled is constantly communicating with Kalki, so that if there are any changes to your curriculum, we know that over the years, some of the courses become obsolete or a new version of the course gets revised and then it comes live. So MAP will keep the curriculum updated and synchronized with what has been updated in the Kalki system. And it does the same with the ACE course catalog. Any changes, whether it's an occupation, course, military locations, will get updated as ACE perform those updates. Okay, moving on into the outreach component, we have the main feature that we want to emphasize is how to upload those transcripts. And in this particular case, I have chosen to do that by looking at all the existing veterans in MAP. And if you have a cohort of veterans and you have their transcripts, you can go ahead and start adding those one by one. But MAP gives you the ability to select the transcripts. And in this case, we have these templates for these transcripts. I'm going to go ahead and select them all by clicking open. MAP is going to scan those documents, and if everything looks good, everything matches with our standards. Once we click on the complete upload, all those veterans will be added into the veterans list. If one of these already exists, MAP is going to go and just update their contact information. If they have a new version of their transcript in which additional information has been added, MAP is going to also update that as well. So just for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and call one of our Surgeon Mora that we have been talking about. I'm going to search for him. And once it comes up, we can take a look to what has happened with him. So there he is. I'm going to go ahead and click his name. If I click on his, let's see, if we want to go ahead and contact him, MAP will allow us to first check his contact information, and then it's going to show up, what has been updated, if they have any MOSs, all these were ACE IDs that were found on his transcripts. So everything looks good here. So if we want to print a letter, we can just click on that print button, and this letter can be customized per college, and is telling us all the courses, all the credits that can be awarded based on the information that was pulled from his transcript. MAP does all of that behind the scenes, scans that PDF, grabs the ACE IDs, compares if there are existing articulations for these courses, and if they have been approved throughout the institution, then those will be listed here. Okay, and we're running out of time, and let's quickly move on the next tool that has to do with the military CPL search site. Dr. Lee, would you like to
Just very quickly, this is a great site that we provide for veterans to self-search for credit in the region at the regional colleges that participate, or to upload their JST and see how many credits that they would qualify for at any of our regional colleges. So if you want to go ahead and
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and first search for an existing MOS, and obviously this is going to come up, and we have the options to select the college. I'm going to select Norco College, and in this case, I'm going to query for the operations specialist. I select that MOS and click on search. Map is going to go and see if this MOS has existing articulations approved, and it founds and is telling this veteran that 45 units, just because of that skill set, 45 units can be awarded if on these different programs of study. And from here, if they want to contact the Veteran Center, say, I'm interested, I want to set up an appointment, they can do so from this, directly from this tool. They can generate this report, with all their programs of study they wish to choose, and then go.
You're going, so below are all the programs of study and the credits that apply to those programs of study?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then all the way down, and there are so many programs of study that this MOS qualifies for.
Yeah.
It's giving them the total units required and what's the percentage of those units that will be awarded.
Now, naturally, if someone gets all the units for a certificate or program, that would not apply. It's a max of 30 in our case, and plus they have to establish residency. And so this is a work in progress, and we'll be incorporating all those sorts of details within this. This is not out in the public yet, this CPL search tool.
All right. Well, it is now, if they want to search by ACE ID, they can do so, and the same feature will work on the back end.
The idea is to make a tool that's similar to the veterans job search tool that Google has, where you can enter your MOS and see what sort of career opportunities there are in your region, and then be presented with that list of college or career employers, and start your career search.
Exactly. So if I'm a veteran, I would like to upload my transcripts and see how many units can be awarded based on what the content of my transcript. They will have the ability to do so by just browsing my transcript. I select it, I click upload, and in this case, it's going to go and select it, not selected. Sorry about that. There you go. Once I upload it, that has a problem. Anyway,
maybe it timed out or something.
Yeah. Anyway,
in the chat, there is a question in regards to the new ACE site to upload JSTs, and just to speak on that, I do use both the new ACE website as well as the map search tool to do my research when I'm sending these to faculty. The only difference that I noticed like MAP is more helpful with is in terms of the approval process, because it actually does store the approval or denial for us. So that in a sense makes it a lot easier to have those stored articulations. But I do have faculty, that prefer the old-fashioned way. They prefer a paper copy, and I do utilize the new ACE site to do those, and I just upload them manually into MAP. And in terms of the grading system, we do use a credit CR code to post this credit on our transcript.
All right, thank you. All right, in this particular case, MAP was able to upload transcripts for this vet, and it's showing everything that is containing his transcripts, and gives him the ability to choose the college that have articulations for those MOSs.
And you can see that we only articulated 3 units of credit for that veteran, and that really is indicative of the 3 units of HES coursework that we award all veterans, and that means that we have work to do on articulating the courses that are included in that veterans JST. We're really only at the beginning stages of really working our way through our catalog and creating all the articulations that we that are available. And so we are we don't want anyone to think that we're a done deal on this. We are looking for the help of all our colleagues in the state to begin to make more and more progress on these articulations. And as we share, we'll be able to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. I think we ran out of time and we won't be able to cover the faculty approvals, but we can talk about the lessons learned.